Hi guys, Sparks Witty here. I just want to give a quick intro for these videos. What you're about to watch is a excerpt from episodes 184 to 187 of our podcast. This was right when the shut-in for the quarantine happened here in California, and when that happened, we had to decide what to do with our topics for the podcast. And at that time, what we decided to do was to just record the next 4 movie reviews: A Quiet Place Part 2, Mulan, New Mutants, and No Time to Die, as if we had seen them, and just say what the movie was in talking with each other. We didn't talk about it beforehand, as in we didn't plan what happened in the film. We just improvised it on the spot when we recorded and had to yes and each other. And this was our way of having some fun with what had just happened with all the movie delays. So if you're watching this, you are just watching those fake quarantine movie reviews. And I hope you enjoy it. And hopefully at some point it'll be fun to look back and see how many things maybe we guessed correctly or we're just sounding more interesting, we'll say. I hope you guys really enjoy this. I thought they were very funny. So here they are, the quarantine reviews.
All right, shall we get into our review? All right, let's do it. This is now our review. Full spoilers for New Mutants. Guys, again, not sure how this is happening, but we are the only people who have seen New Mutants again. But
it's an exclusive. We got guys.
So, if you don't want to know anything about this movie, that may or may not ever come out. Don't listen any further. Skip to the book club. But if you do, hey, stick around. It's your funeral.
All right.
All right. Let's go around the horn. What do we think about this one, Ben? Since you started, let's go first.
Overall, I enjoyed it, but there was one part that pissed me off quite a bit, and I know it doesn't make me as mad as it probably made Ryan, that they mentioned Emma Frost a lot, but they never showed her, and it just makes me so mad because I feel like I've been baptized in the religion of Emma Frost after reading Marauders and everything, and I'm like, show me Emma. Where is she? Where's that bitch? Where's my white queen? And we never see
watch
her.
X-Men Origins Wolverine.
No!
Oh, sorry. No. X-Men First Class.
No!
They did it dirty.
Twice.
Just watch Dolores in Westworld. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, but yeah, so that made me mad. But besides that, decent, got good scares. It was a. I enjoyed it for all the crap this thing went through. But show me Emma Frost, god damn it.
Yeah.
Sparks.
I think I loved it.
Okay.
I really do. I went in. I don't know what I was expecting when I went in, but I wasn't expecting what we got. Yeah. So I was far more impressed with how. I think what it was is that early on it was being touted as like X-Men horror, and like I know like not necessarily that they were saying that, but that's how everyone else was talking about it, and I was surprised how actually tense and scary some moments were. Yeah.
Yeah. Ryan.
Yeah, I like it. I feel biased just because like I have an X-Men tattoo, so like it's hard for me to like. I think this movie's really good, and the movie that I can most describe it as is Overlord. Remember Overlord, where we thought it would be this big movie, but it was very subdued. That's what I like this movie. That's why I like this movie a lot. It's a typical like people are like almost in a haunted house and they have superpowers and these crazy things are happening, but the things that happen are not what you expect, and they're different than the archetypal horror movie things. And when you include things like the X-Men and mentioning things like Emma Frost and Mr. Sinister, it adds a little bit of for me, a little bit of coolness that it didn't need. And Ben, I do agree. They used they used Emma's name a little too much for her not to be in the movie, but I understand why they did it, but it felt more like fan service, and that's whatever.
This movie joins the big family of X-Men movies that tease Mr. Sinister but don't show him.
Yeah, and if this movie were to come out when it was supposed to come out, it could actually maybe led to something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's okay, real quickly, my thoughts. Yes, I think this might be tied. I know you guys. I know how you guys feel about the movie. X-Men First Class, I feel, is the best the Fox X-Men movie. It is my favorite. I adore that movie. I think New Mutants might be giving it a run for its money.
That's high praise, and that makes me really happy.
That is.
I thoroughly enjoyed that movie. Much like I think Overlord is an apt example. You know, Overlord, when I first saw it, I was kind of like lukewarm on Overlord. I was like, I wanted something bigger. I wanted something bolder, a more creature feature, less war. This one, I kind of had the expectation that I was going to get an Overlord type.
It's character based.
Good analogy.
Yeah, it's character based, and so that allowed me to be like excited when it did go big, like with Demon Bear.
Yeah.
So like things like that, like I think that helped me enjoy the movie a lot more. Is that I expected a more Overlord type film.
Yeah. I think in relation to what you were saying just now, one of the things I think that makes me love it so much is it feels like an X-Men movie, but it doesn't feel like a Fox X-Men movie.
Yeah.
And that felt like such a breath. Like outside of Logan and the Wolverine, you don't get that sense of the separation from the Fox X-Men. Even the Deadpool films still feel kind of tied to by the designs, by the aesthetics, by the world of the Fox X-Men films. And if you haven't loved everything in that, seeing what an X-Men movie can be without those constraints felt so nice.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's why First Class is my favorite. I don't know if you'll agree with this one, but I think that X-Men First Class is also fairly far removed from the Fox X-Men style. It does go a little bit harder in the classic costumes of the yellow and blue.
I agree.
I agree for certain aspects. I agree.
And so, like, I think that's why First Class is one of my favorites, is because, like Logan and the Wolverine, it does go far. And so New Mutants, I think, now fits within that category pretty well.
Perfect analogy of what I mean. Even in First Class, Mystique still looks like Mystique in the other X-Men movies.
True.
You see what I'm saying? But here, I didn't feel like any power looked the same as things we saw in Fox X-Men films. No costumes, none of the machinery that was involved, none of the tech. None of it felt like, oh, this has been designed and we're transporting it over from the Fox X-Men films. The one thing that I didn't need was Stryker's stupid name being on the building and then being said.
Yeah, I'm done with Stryker. We don't need Stryker in every single movie.
Get him out of there.
I don't. So like this was apparently like Josh Boone's cut of the movie, like the movie he wanted to make.
They never did reshoots. I do still feel the slight bit of studio interference. Because while this is not a Fox movie, it's like they tried to make it a Fox movie in some ways. Like the studio's like, no, but it has to connect. It has to connect. Stryker, Emma Frost, Mr. Sinister. And I bet Josh Boone was just like, fine, just put it on a plaque, but don't make it a big thing. But imagine how much more that would have been if they were able to do the reshoots.
Yeah. That scares me. Yeah.
And so one of the things I think to bounce off of what Spark said a little bit with the aesthetic of it, I cannot see a filmmaker like Bryan Singer ever adapting Magic's sword like that.
Yeah.
Like that was pitch perfect.
Yeah, it was so good.
And I think, Sparks, what you were saying is like, one of the things that makes this feel and look different is this is a lower budget movie. This isn't a $150 million X-Men movie. This is like Deadpool, maybe even lower than Deadpool. Like these are people trapped in a insane asylum going crazy.
It's like a kind of superpowered, better version of Glass.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's perfect. That is actually
that's it.
This is the better Glass.
You nailed it. That's why I like this movie so much. It's better than Glass.
Oh, it's definitely better than Glass. You know what? Now that I think my feelings about this movie just went up a little bit because you said that, Sparks.
Yeah. So the thing that I like most about this movie is Danny Moonstar. Her powers are she can read people's emotions. She's an empath, but then she can also create illusions based off your emotions. So Brandon, you're scared of like snakes or something, right? So I can conjure a snake and you would see a hallucination of a snake.
Why would you do that?
That's an example. I would never do that. I love you.
Why he brings that up? Just letting you know, there's some snakes in Tiger King.
Oh.
Not a lot. Not
a lot.
Just be aware.
I'm not watching it. I'm not watching it.
You can watch it.
Listen, it's the first scene of the show is a snake. The first thing you see is a snake.
Cancel it. I don't want to see it anymore.
It'll be fun.
But that's it.
Anyway, the reason that I enjoy this movie is because the trailers indicate that like these guys are experiencing these crazy things that the doctors are making them experience it. It's not. It's Danny, and they're using Danny to manipulate the other mutants into seeing their realities. And I like that so much because that's such an interesting way of using a superhero's powers against their friends. And like the moment,
yeah, it's also interesting because like the the doctor thinks that they're crazy. And they're not just, like, she knows they're mutants, but she thinks the reason why people are mutants is because they're insane, which is why they're in the asylum. I think that's a really interesting place to take it.
She's oddly, like, she's bad, but she's oddly sympathetic because she really wants to help these people who she thinks cannot be helped. Yeah. But she's clearly has her own problems because of her past with mutants and stuff.
Well, it's her prejudice towards mutants. You know, it's her prejudice toward her. She thinks she's helping these people. You know, taking it a little further, you know, you start to think like, you know, people who try to help gay people try not to be gay. It's that therapy. Sort of thing where she doesn't think that what she's doing is malicious. She doesn't think that what she is doing is for evil intent. She just thinks that the cure for mutantdom is in the mind, which it's not.
And the problem is when you are experimenting on someone like Danny, who can do these radical things like make you hallucinate your worst nightmares, that has huge ramifications on the entire complex. So she's not only messing with her friends, but she's messing with the staff too. Like, there are other characters that are helping the doctor in this, and like, they're side characters and some of them die, but like, they didn't deserve to die. And it's also not Danny's fault. And that's why I find it so interesting, because it paints Danny and like, she's the victim, but also the bad guy, but she's not. She's being horribly experimented on. Like, I think this movie's awesome.
Yeah. I really, really like pretty much the entire cast. I really like. Yeah. And the way that the characters come together reminded me a lot of, it's like a more true to life interpretation of the Guardians coming together in prison in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Like, that's more comedic, and this felt in a similar vein.
Yeah. But
it's them coming together in a more serious and sincere.
Like, they're all kind of like hurt or damaged people, and they all find value in each other. Yeah.
And I think this is the best Maisie Williams has been in years.
God, dude, she's so good.
She was really, like, I think she was really great in the early years of Game of Thrones, and I think like her performance in the last few years like got a little, like, I chalk it up to writing and stuff too, but like it just got a little lesser. That she was a standout as an actor to me, and then she did an appearance on Doctor Who that was also kind of like, oh, okay.
She also like in Game of Thrones, like, she literally lost her like emotion.
Exactly. But here, she was killer. She killed it. I knew going in I was probably gonna like her, and I was gonna like Anya Taylor-Joy, who I didn't expect to like so much was Sam.
Sam Guthrie.
Cannonball. He killed it.
Yeah,
he killed it.
That's a kid from Stranger Things.
Right, from Stranger Things.
Yeah. No, because Maisie Williams' performance in this one reminded me a lot of seasons 2 and 3 of
Charlie
Arya.
Keaton, that's his name, sorry.
All right, yeah, but seasons 2 and 3 of Arya from Game of Thrones, you know, where she's on the run, she has like, it reminded me of a lot of what she was doing back then.
Yeah.
But you're right, she was killing this, and I think one of my favorites is, I forgot her name, but it's the blonde girl.
Magic.
Yeah, her. Oh, I love her.
Played by Ileana
Rasputin.
Played by Anya Taylor-Joy.
This has an interesting effect that Cabin in the Woods had, or Red Dawn. And I picked those two because those are Chris Hemsworth movies that were delayed for 3 years. This has an interesting effect that we're seeing these people almost 4 years ago now.
Yeah.
These are how they were 4 years ago. So I just watched Anya Taylor-Joy in Emma.
3 years ago.
I mean, when they film it.
They filmed in 2017.
Oh, okay. So like I just saw Anya Taylor-Joy in Emma, and like the difference of these two actresses is crazy. Yeah. This movie took so long to come out.
Like,
this could have been a star-making turn for Anya Taylor-Joy if this came out.
She's been doing fine. She went from The Witch.
She was in Glass and Split.
And Split was the thing that I think put her over.
Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, this came out this came out when it was supposed to.
It would have helped. Yeah,
sure. She's doing fine.
And again, I think having a low budget.
Charlie Heaton needed this more.
Yeah, because he's kind of left behind in Stranger Things. I think having a low budget, anytime a creator has a low budget, that makes them think harder on how to do practical effects and how to do special effects. So the effects on Rain when she turns into a werewolf are practical most of the time, and it looks good. It's Maisie Williams in like a wolf outfit, and like it's not cheesy, and like. They use shadows so well, where it's like she's always kind of like lurking in the darkness before she pounces.
What is it? Necessity is the mother of invention.
Say that again.
Necessity is the mother of invention.
Yes, that's beautiful. Yeah.
Low budget films always find, especially if there's a clear passion.
Mm-hmm.
Low budget films always find a way to look great.
Yeah. And I really feel bad for the filmmakers when this movie was coming out, because people were talking about how bad it was going to be, about all the drama that this film came out. I could see the passion behind this film.
The reshoots, we now having seen the movie and seeing that there is passion in this movie from Josh Boone, we can now be confirmed that those reshoots were Fox executives being like, no, make this more. Make this more X-Men-y.
Make this more X-Men-y. Let's make this less horror. I like the horror in this movie.
I can't even imagine what a different this movie is clearly somebody's vision, and it's like, if you take away the X-Men name, this could just be about random people in an insane asylum with powers, right? Yeah. And again, like an Overlord or something.
So I want to talk about my favorite scene. One of my favorite scene, my favorite scene in the entire movie is the scene where they're experimenting on Dani, and they overcharge her, so she affects the entire asylum. And we go to each one of the New Mutants one by one, and they're hallucinating about their worst nightmare. Maisie Williams, when she sits in the confessional booth, and she's trying to confess to the priest, and it revealed that the priest is the wolf that she turns into, and it's about to eat her alive. Is freaking terrifying. The scene where Magic is seeing all of the people that she's killed come for her out of vengeance, and she's just fighting back. No, she's like, I killed you once, I could kill you again. And they're just like, you can't do this to us again, Magic.
You remind me of Age of Ultron.
Yeah, it's really too bad that we're not going to get a Colossus Ileana with Anya Taylor-Joy.
I just this whole cast, obviously Magic is the standout, for fans. Magic is a standout fan character. She's spunky, she's sassy, she murders for fun, but she's also got a heart of gold. She would be the one to pluck and put into the new era, but that's not fair to everyone else, because I think everyone's really good. I think everyone's really good in this movie.
Of every single X-Men cast that we have seen, and I know there were a lot of people saying that just bring the first class cast. What I don't know, don't do that. I'm sorry. In fact, don't have Xavier Magneto. Anyway, of all of the casts that Fox has done for the X-Men, this is the one that you pluck and put into the MCU.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they could. It's unfortunate that it does still require some establishment of mutants existing.
Yeah.
They put themselves into a weird corner because there is that small Deadpool nod, which is when he's on the TV screen for the commercial advertisement on the news.
Yeah.
It's funny because that didn't bother me because it wasn't so overt or anything.
No. It doesn't bother me. What I'm saying is they're in a weird space because we know Deadpool's moving forward.
Oh, true. Yes.
And that puts them in a weird place where Deadpool can be the string that connects them. But again, you still have to live in a world where mutants existed.
I actually only saw that as just a nod to Deadpool, really. I just saw that as a quick...
Well, but 3 years ago it would have been, but now with the context that we have, we know that Deadpool is moving over to the MCU almost as is. It does create a new context completely that didn't exist 3 years ago.
That's a good point. I don't think they would have put They could have easily removed that. I don't think they would have put Deadpool in there because oh, hey guys, look, Deadpool, Marvel. There's nothing if you're listening and you don't care about spoilers, there is nothing Marvel related. There is no tie into Doctor Strange. This is a self-contained thing. With that being said, there isn't any reason why it couldn't be in this universe. They never say it, but obviously it's not. There's no mutants in the MCU yet.
Well, what Sparks is saying is the biggest hurdle that the MCU has to get over, especially with moving things like New Mutants or Deadpool over to the MCU. The biggest hurdle is that, as far as we know, there are no mutants in the MCU.
Yeah. In my opinion, if they just get over that hurdle of however mutants are established, and you just bring in these characters further down the road by years from when we last saw them, and they just start showing up in the X-Men films, I wouldn't care. I'd be like, go ahead.
There's no reason that this movie doesn't take place 2 years in the future. You know what I mean? When it's more established.
Yeah, because they keep things so minimal in the tech or anything date related or anything. Again, the only thing that kind of isolates it into a date at all is we know Deadpool exists.
Yes. Yeah.
It's kind of like how I always felt like if you really wanted to, there were a lot of rumors that Wesley Snipes was going to return as Blade, or in some capacity because there was a comic book coming out with Blade's daughter that they canceled. I feel like Blade is one of those movies that if you just wanted to, the three Blade films exist in the MCU.
Yeah,
it's easy. I feel like it is easy to place.
You're
those
saying
movies.
If we were still having Wesley Snipes as Blade.
If we were having Wesley Snipes as Blade,
Sure.
So I think
how crazy is it that we still have no idea when that movie's coming out?
That was just for publicity. That's not happening.
That was to kill
years.
Blade on TV.
Yes,
that
Spike TV's Blade.
So I feel like New Mutants could exist in that similar space where if you just wanted to, yeah, sure, let's figure out, let's contextualize it in a way that this could have always happened in the MCU. I don't think it's too difficult, but then the hurdle of like where'd all the mutants go?
Yeah.
But I mean, like, you know, what's going to decide how that works? However they decide to handle Deadpool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, true.
Because we really don't know what that's going to be.
It's true.
I thought what Ben brought up, like those scenes were really good. I think that the whole finale was awesome.
Yeah, it's
far more emotional than I thought it would be.
It turns a big like climactic like battle against demons and this giant like manifestation demon bear, but also making it really emotional, like dealing with what the characters are feeling inside, because the demon bear is not real. That's the whole point. He's not real.
Demon bear, however, sits with the Annihilation Bear as my second most terrifying bear.
With smoky eyes.
That's really good. It reminded me a lot of the we just talked about recently, but the rhino thing from James and the Giant Peach.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Foreboding like that. Yeah. I really like that Danny didn't kill the doctor. Yes. But that Ileana came up and did it for her.
Oh, magic will kill a bitch. She don't care.
She did it for her so that Danny wouldn't be a killer.
Yes.
Essentially, like, Danny's about to kill her. She's like, no, I can't do this. And the magic's like, yeah, you shouldn't, Shank, but I can.
Dude, no, because it's so much cooler than that. Because like it's like a moment where like Danny wants to do this, but she can't because her morals are there. So Magic's arm just starts turning into the sword. She's like, I got this.
Well, also because if she does it, she's going to feel killing her.
Yes, that's true. That can add even more bad ramifications. Yes.
Yeah. But I love Magic so much in this movie. I think she's. I mean. Don't get me wrong. I love all the kids, but to me, Magic is just a standout.
She has the most personality for sure.
Oh yeah,
she's just a crazy, sexed up Russian lady.
She's like, I'm going to murder people because F them and F all of them.
They got in my way. I had to get milk.
It's like, hey, I'm going to try and do something here, but if you stand in my way, you die.
She's such a Bakugo.
Magic is
okay.
Yeah, I think Magic is the standout, and
I really like Charlie as Sam.
I don't think. I think the Fox films have casted very well in the past. Yeah. Patrick Stewart, Ian McKellen. James McAvoy. Michael Fassbender. I think they've casted very well. A lot of the time, and I think Ileana, Anya Taylor-Joy has to be up there with like Chris Reeve, Robert Downey Jr. Yeah. As people who are born to play this role.
And it's so sad because obviously the X-Men are huge in comics again, and Magic is in the forefront of the New Mutants, and she's currently now just in the X-Men comic that Jonathan Hickman writes because he loves.
She's going to be in an event, X of Swords.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you know going in that the Doctor was a mutant? Because I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
Not in the comics, so that is an interesting take.
Because she creates those protective fields around herself.
So here's So if I have one problem with the movie, it's that usually when you develop your mutant abilities, it's when you're going through puberty or a really traumatic event happens. It's hard for me to believe that this doctor has not been through anything traumatic her whole life until this very moment, and her abilities manifest then.
Right.
But that to me doesn't really bother me because it's not out of the it's happened before. Like mutants getting their abilities late in life. It's just not super common.
I just feel like the reveal about it could have been timed better in the film.
I even think it didn't really even need to be in the movie, but again, I think that's trying to make her be a little more sympathetic. She's like, "Oh, I'm the enemy. Maybe I'm not the enemy."
Yeah, I kind of do like the timing could have been better, but I do like just her realization of, "Oh crap, I'm the very thing I sought to destroy."
Yes.
Like she was like, "Oh my god, I had this thing," and then she realizes what she's done, and Dan's like, "You've done all these horrible things," and then Magic just coming up and just stabbing her in the back was like, okay.
Yeah, okay. She did. The doctor did have it coming. She was doing some really horrific things.
Oh yeah, she totally did.
There was like an inkling of like, you could have been good. You could have been good.
You could have.
She played things differently if Magic wasn't a person at this thing.
Yeah. Like, doesn't Danny say that you could have helped us in a better way instead of trying to change us? She's like, "Oh, you're right, I did, and I could have." Doesn't Danny say something along those lines, or is it just?
Well, because she was indicating how like she was like saying all the things. She just also proved that she didn't believe them.
Yeah.
And that was the whole thing, is that like she said all the things that could have helped Danny, and then her actions showed that she didn't believe them when she said them.
Yeah.
And so Danny was like, you had the power, you could have done this. Yeah.
Real quick, we haven't talked about Roberto da Costa, who is Sunspot. He's a dude who lights up. He is the jokester. He is the ladies' man. Like, I thought he was really good. He probably has the least screen time, which I found surprising, because in the New Mutants book, he's the lead. He's the star next to Magic. And Jonathan Hickman writes him very well. So I figured that it would have been Magic and Sunspot's movie, not so much Magic and Cannonball's movie. I thought that was a good take. Yeah. So we live together. We're all in sickness.
Sparks and Ryan are not 6 feet apart. Yes, Solo Wookiee, they are not. Guys, can you please?
Cool, yeah, I got you. So I really like the New Mutants movie.
Yeah, I definitely feel like they gave him the least to work with, writing-wise. But I kind of... He still worked when he was there. Yeah, and I liked everyone else so much that it didn't...
Yeah, there's enough characters. They do, all of them do get their moments. I guess just as a Robert DaCosta fan, I kind of just wanted more. But again, it's not like he's bad. He's just underused.
Yeah.
Isn't that just the Fox X-Men slogan?
Yes. Yeah. 100%. Do you guys remember in Dark Phoenix there was a guy who whipped his hair and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's his name? I don't know.
I don't remember.
Was there?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
I bought Dark Phoenix. Maybe I should buy Rise of Skywalker.
You want to know something shitty? I'd probably watch Dark Phoenix before I watch Rise of Skywalker.
Me too.
I think I need to watch Dark
I haven't
Phoenix,
read the newer run. What part does the New Mutants do their take on, or did they wing it?
It's its own original story. The New Mutants are they
loosely based on the original.
Yes, but like none of them were locked in an asylum like it's a closed space. Like it was them dealing with the Demon Bear stuff, but it's like everywhere they go.
Yeah.
The new run's great, Solo Wookiee.
I don't think I have much more to add.
I got nothing much. I got nothing.
We all saw this movie and we really liked it.
We definitely saw this movie. Ben, what would you rate it?
Oh, I give it an 8.5.
8.5.
It's solid. It is a solid. I mean, minus the whole talking about Emma but not really showing Emma and doing nothing with Mr. Sinister, but talking about Mr. Sinister and not doing him. And besides that, pissing me off. Everything else, top notch.
Sparks?
Yeah, I'd give it a 9. I really, really enjoyed it. I went in nervous for a Fant 4-stick situation and got the opposite. So
yes.
Very happy.
Ryan?
I'm very surprised that this came out the way it did.
Can't believe they didn't have more faith in it.
Yeah, again, like when the movie's so good. I'd give it a 9 as well. The thing that bums me out the most is that this might be the end of these guys, like these actors who got we're new X-Men, not anymore. I think they're all really good and they're all really well cast and they all represent the characters from the comics very well. I really hope they get a second chance in some way, even if like Disney was weird and be like, hey, just do your own thing. It doesn't have to be connected, and I know they're not going to. But I think there's a missed opportunity to not use this cast again. I really do.
Oh yeah.
I gave it a 6. I think I gave it a 6 because of the mention of Stryker.
Okay.
Knocks a lot of I give it an 8.5. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Right up there with some of my favorite X-Men films. I have been a fan of the Fox X-Men films for so long. It is sad that this is the last nail in the coffin, but it's not a bad nail to go out on.
Yeah.
Certainly better than the Dark Phoenix. So
we don't need
real quick.
Education.
There's a deleted scene of the Dark Phoenix's alternate ending that is 1 million times better than the actual ending of that movie, and it pisses me off they didn't go with it.
What's the ending?
It's just Charles Xavier giving a speech. And it's him at the mansion, and it's like everything's done, and he just talks about his life and the X-Men, and it's just him getting into his car without any powers, and like him like putting his legs in the car and having to do stuff, and it's like it's so powerful, and I'm like, what is wrong with you? Why did you?
I didn't like that original ending.
You didn't?
No, I didn't.
You like the movie ending better?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so sad.
I mean, look, I would have preferred the 2-parter Dark Phoenix ending that they initially intended to do, but you know. All right, let's talk about the other big release of the week, Cyborg.
I didn't see this one. Did you guys?
No,
I saw it. Yeah. I was surprised that they. No, I'm sorry, I can't. All right, let's get into our book club.
Really fishing for something there, huh?
Well, luckily Cyborg is in this one, and it did come out, and it's actually really, really good.
All right, Ben, it is your book club. Take it away.